Hello, fake footballers. Welcome to draft video number 3. This is Greg Smith, your host, and today we're drafting a 2-quarterback league. We also have half point per reception going on in this league. If you cannot read the roster over here on the side in the league settings, it's 2 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, flex spot for wide receiver, running back, or tight end, kicker, defense, and 7 bench spots. The passing points are 1 point for every 25 yards and 4 points per touchdown, -1 for every interception. And with that said, let's see what else. I have the second pick overall. The first pick has not shown up yet, which is kind of annoying. But I'm assuming AutoDraft will select Arian Foster for him. I know it's a 2-quarterback league, and I know that you should be taking quarterbacks early in leagues like this. I will advocate that for any pick beyond the top 3 or 4. But in this case, I'm probably still looking to grab a running back with my first pick, the second overall. I will take Foster or Rice, whichever one is available. And if I had the third pick, I'd probably still take McCoy, but I'd start thinking a little more about Aaron Rodgers in that spot. Fourth pick would be basically a coin flip for me between Aaron Rodgers and Chris Johnson at this point. And after that, like 5th pick on, you could take any of the QBs and I would have no problem with it. And let's see, we got a minute and a half left before the draft starts, and I will rejoin you then. All right, welcome back. The draft has just started. The Bull runners are on the clock. It still says that they are logged out, and there goes Aaron Rodgers, first overall. So I'm not sure if that was a pre-rank based upon the fact that this is a 2 QB league, or a pre-rank based upon the fact that he really wanted Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people tend to want him this year, and you can see it as the ADP kind of creeps up. I'm going to take Arian Foster here. I should note that I'm going to go off of my rankings today and not the consensus staff rankings for the fake football. These rankings that I have posted here are for a 1-quarterback league, so we'll take all the quarterback ratings with a grain of salt. Like right now, Aaron Rodgers is 6. For this league, I'd probably have him 4 or 5 ahead of McFadden and maybe ahead of Chris Johnson. And Tom Brady and Drew Brees would also bump up to probably 6 or 7 back-to-back. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to select Arian Foster. I haven't had the opportunity to own him in any leagues this year, so this should be fun. Drew Brees went 3rd overall, so people are really banging the 2-quarterback necessity of getting in on a QB early. I can't fault any of these picks. There goes Ray Rice 4th, Tom Brady 5th. I will probably look to take a quarterback with this this 9th pick in the 2nd round. Let's just hope that Stafford or Cam Newton falls to me. I kind of doubt it the way things are going. If not, I'll be content to take another running back or a wide receiver. Just because it's a 2-quarterback league doesn't mean you absolutely have to reach for all the QBs. You still want to be targeting good value regardless. And I don't mind jumping on, oh wow, Matthew Stafford went right after Tom Brady. And then LaShawn McCoy. Interrupted my train of thought. What was I saying? I don't mind going with a couple mid-tier quarterbacks in a league like this if it means that I'm getting top quality talent at the running back and wide receiver positions. With that said, I do want to get a quarterback with my 2nd or 3rd pick if possible. We'll see who's available. It probably won't be anyone amazing at that point. After Stafford, LaShawn McCoy went, then Eli Manning, then Cam Newton, then Calvin Johnson, then Rob Gronkowski. I think in a 2-quarterback league, with only 1 starting tight end, I understand there's a flex where you can start a tight end, but in a 2-quarterback league where you only have 1 dedicated tight end spot, the tight ends tend to be a little less valuable. I definitely would not be taking a Gronkowski or a Jimmy Graham in the 1st or 2nd round. After Gronkowski, Darren McFadden went, and that's pretty sweet. 2nd pick of the 2nd round for McFadden. And who did he get that guy to go with? Let's see. He started off with Cam Newton and Darren McFadden. That's a pretty good start for 2-quarterback leagues. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks before I come up here. The top quarterback on the board according to Yahoo, is Michael Vick. According to my rankings, the top QB is probably also Michael Vick, with Romo and Matt Ryan being the next two. I had all three of those guys ahead of Eli Manning for what it's worth. I think that's a pretty solid tier of guys, though. You can't really go wrong with any of those guys. Yahoo has Matt Ryan buried pretty deep here, behind Roethlisberger, RG3, Cutler, Phillip Rivers, and Romo and Vic and Peyton Manning. So I could sneak him in with my third round pick. After McFadden, Victor Cruz was selected, and we've been waiting a while for Cromartie's kids. That's a good team name. It'll be interesting to see how many QBs go within the next 5 picks. I do like Michael Vick despite his recent injury woes, although he was just selected by that team who was on the clock, so we don't have to worry about that. At this point, I'm looking at another running back. If Chris Johnson falls to me here, I would do a very, very happy dance. He is my number 4 player overall, but of course, I jinxed it. He just went after Michael Vick. Jimmy Graham was selected, then Chris Johnson was picked. So there are 2 more picks coming up here before I go, and we're looking at, wow, not a whole lot. Let's take a look at my rankings. Overall, for a 1 quarterback league, I have Matt Forte, or I have MJD, Matt Forte, and Jamal Charles as my next few picks. And I don't think I would take MJD here. With all of his holdout news, I'm not convinced that's where I want to be going this early in the draft. It just doesn't seem safe. If he's there for the 3rd pick, maybe I'd think about it. But I'm leaning Forte. Oh, there goes MJD. So, I mean, the other running backs available here, Ryan Matthews, Trent Richardson, and Adrian Peterson. I think I will pass on all those guys and take Matt Forte. He seems a little safer than AP or Trent Richardson or Ryan Matthews at this point. All those other guys are dinged up. I really am down on AP this season. I have him ranked much lower than most other fantasy pundits. I like Jamal Charles a lot this year, though. It'll be interesting to see what I should do with this 3rd round pick. I do feel like I need to get a QB, but all the QBs, I talked about this in the comments on my last draft video, all the QBs are pretty far down in the overall rankings here, and a lot of the teams have already selected a quarterback. So like Aaron Rodgers is gone, Drew Brees is gone, Tom Brady is gone, Matthew Stafford's gone, Eli Manning's gone, Vic is gone, Cam Newton is gone. So there are only 2 teams that don't have their first quarterback. I could try to risk it and wait here. He just took Larry Fitzgerald. So yeah, I'm going to jump on Matt Forte, I think. With my next pick, I very well might just take a 3rd running back. Between DeMarco Murray, Trent Richardson, Ryan Matthews, and Jamal Charles, I'd be happy to get one of those 3 guys. I understand I'm giving up something at wide receiver and at quarterback, but I do like just getting 3 top flight running backs if I can do it. Let's take a look at the QBs one more time, though, before I fully commit to this plan. So Peyton Manning, Romo, Rivers, Cutler, RG3, Roethlisberger, and Matt Ryan are the next quarterbacks ranked, and they're all pretty far down the Yahoo rankings. They're not even on this first page. I understand that doesn't really mean a whole lot, but I think I can wait on QB at this point. I'm going to take Forte, and when it comes back to me, I'll probably take Jamal Charles if he's there. Let's compare to my rankings here. So after Forte, I have, Charles, Murray, and then a bunch of QBs. I guess I could think about a wide receiver. I do have Andre Johnson rated above a lot of these other players, along with Julio Jones. After I took Forte, Darren Sproles and Greg Jennings were selected. Yeah, I'm going to go with Charles here. It is half-point PPR, so I like him a little bit more in this format. Ryan Matthews is good. I would not be ashamed of taking him here in the 3rd. He'll probably only miss a couple games at the beginning of the season, but just his injury history really scares me away. I understand Charles was hurt last year too, but Ryan Matthews seems like he's always getting hurt. Yeah, I'm going to take Jamal Charles here, and be happy to do so. So that fills up my flex spot too. I'm really going to have to key in on wide receiver and quarterback with my next many picks. I could probably take one running back for depth going forward, but with these three guys, I'm pretty set at the position, and I only really need one or two quality backups, assuming none of these guys get hurt. Knock on wood. That was me knocking. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to pause here and come back when it's closer to the end of the round. I'll recap the picks in the third. All right, so after I took Jamal Charles, the next players selected were Ryan Matthews, Andre Johnson, Roddy White, Fred Jackson, Matt Ryan, Michael Turner, Brandon Marshall, Wes Welker, Adrian Peterson, and AJ Green. I'm still looking QB here. There are 6 picks before I come up. Tony Romo was just selected. I might just have to jump on whoever's available between Manning, Rivers, and Roethlisberger just to get one of my QBs on the board. And with that second pick, I might just take another another quarterback. The wide receivers available here still include Julio Jones, and I'm pretty high on him, as are a lot of fantasy players this season. So if he makes it to me, I could talk myself into that pick as well, and then take a quarterback on the wheel. But we got 4 picks left here. DeMarco Murray was selected right after Tony Romo. I should mention that I really do enjoy the 2 quarterback leagues. Doug Martin was just selected. And I think that it levels the playing field between, or levels the gap between position scarcity, whether it be wide receiver, running back, quarterback. It brings everybody a little closer together. This season in particular feels a little strange in that wide receivers tend to be devalued, but I feel like they're devalued in any draft setup this year unless you're starting like 4 or 5 wide receivers mandatory. I like the 2 quarterback rule because it kind of brings quarterbacks and running backs closer together as far as value-based drafting goes. The guy on the wheel here at 10th pick has Rodgers, Jennings, and Sproles on his roster, and he's on auto pick. Phillip Rivers and Andrew Luck were taken after Doug Martin. So, and then Trent Richardson was taken. That seems like good value. 4th round for Trent Richardson. 2 quarterback leagues are weird. I'm looking at Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Schaub, Jay Cutler, RG3 as my top-ranked QBs based upon these rankings here. I'm going to get one of them. I think I'm going to take Julio Jones, though. I'm a gambler. What can I say? I'm going to gamble on these quarterbacks surviving a little bit longer. The auto picker will end up with, drumroll please, Hakeem Nicks. And if he gets Marshawn Lynch here, we'll know that he's on full-fledged Yahoo auto pick. He got Antonio Gates. Okay, that's fine. So, quarterbacks. Manning is my top-rated guy. Roethlisberger, number 2. I'm actually not in love with any of these guys. I really wish I would have taken some quarterback over Matt Ryan, over Jamal Charles. But I got greedy, and I'm paying for it now. I'm just going to take the guy I have ranked the highest, which is Peyton Manning. And maybe when it gets back to me, I can back him up, or not back him up, but pair him with Carson Palmer, Josh Freeman, or, I don't know, maybe Matt Schaub or Roethlisberger will make it back to me. I mean, Manning's a pretty risky guy to have this year, but he's looked good enough in the preseason games to the point where I'm not totally worried. Anyway, I will be back in a moment with a recap of the rest of Round 5's picks.